Greetings, fellow earthlings. Welcome to Robin Radio. I'm in my new space. A lot of things have been moved around, but I thought that today I'm going to record from here. So thank you so much for joining me. I've been having an interesting synchronicity happening in my life at the moment. I've been connecting with a few people, and I'm noticing a common thread. So that's what today's episode is about. I want to talk about this common thread that I'm noticing. But before we go into that, I just want all of us to do something very quickly. If you can do what I'm about to do, cross your legs like this. We're just going to do some breathing together. So let us all gently close our eyes. Place your hands wherever they feel comfortable, keeping your back straight. Inhale. Exhale slowly. Inhale deep and long. Exhale slow and completely. And we're just going to do this a couple of times, inhaling and exhaling with our eyes closed, keeping your lips together. So we're going to be inhaling and exhaling through the nose. As we are inhaling, we are completely filling the lung and abdomen with air, the lungs and abdomen with air. And as we exhale, we are lengthening the exhale so that it's a bit longer than the inhale. The slow exhalation and deep inhalation has a cooling effect on the brain. So we're starting to trigger the parasympathetic nervous system and just triggering the calm response. Just keep inhaling and exhaling. This calmness that we're going to move into because of the breath will allow us to be more receptive to connecting to what I'm going to share, and also just take away the rush of the day. And as we are exhaling slower and longer, we're deliberately slowing the breath down. We are also releasing excess cortisol from the bloodstream, which is also bringing us into this parasympathetic nervous system space. We're triggering the body to know that it's now safe and calm. There's nothing to run to and nothing to run from. Let us take 3 more of these deep and slow conscious breaths. And if the mind is trying to think of the next thing to do, or the mind is moving around, it's okay. Allow it to do that. Just bring your attention back to your breath. Whenever you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. So thank you so much. So beautiful people, this common thread that I've been picking up is There's definitely a lot of anxiety and depression in our world today. I think it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that we are at the cutting edge of understanding our mental, emotional, and physical states of being, and how many of us are in this anxious, stressed space. But there's something underlying this besides all the stuff we know that the environment is playing a role. We know that the workplace is playing a role. We know that our relationships are playing a role. We know that trauma is playing a role. We know that the political situation is playing a role. There's a lot of things at play, but there's something that I think we're not giving enough attention. And please forgive me if I'm being presumptuous. If you in your personal space are fully aware of this and already aligned to this, well, then that's excellent. And I'm, please leave your comments below, your insights below. I think that's beautiful, but I just feel like more awareness around this and more attention needs to be paid around this. And for me, this common thread that I'm picking up is that we are not acknowledging the role of chemistry in our mental states, in our emotional states. I think we're aware of it, but I think we're aware of it more as an effect rather than a cause. And I understand that the cause initially might not be the chemistry, but I think what we might be missing is the perpetuation of our mental states of anxiety and stress and depression and all the other states that are coming out of this. I think we are not acknowledging enough the role that chemistry is playing. And when I'm talking about chemistry, I'm talking predominantly the hormones. And I'm going to touch on a few of the hormones. I'm not a neuroscientist. I'm not a doctor. I just have a good understanding because of my meditation journey, and because I've been so blessed that the school I've been attending, they've really educated us about what's going on scientifically. So I'm going to be touching on a few of these hormones, and I think that the main ones, that we all kind of have a good feel of, and if you don't, well, hopefully this will give you some insights. But dopamine, cortisol, oxytocin, those three, and maybe also serotonin. But for me, I really am going to touch on and adrenaline. So I understand that the cause of our anxiety and depression might be something in our childhood. It might be an event that is happening. It might be, it might be an external stimulus. But I believe that we've underestimated the role of our chemistry in working hand in hand with this external stimuli. So in other words, yes, we are prone to being triggered by certain events in our life, but I believe that our chemistry as humanity today is compromised to a point where we are not as capable of dealing with the effects of those external stimuli. I believe that if we had to take our chemistry levels today and compare it to somebody in the 60s, I believe that we would have far more chemistry available in someone from those times than somebody today. I don't have any scientific backing for this, but I do think there is studies going into that, and I do think that there is an acknowledgement of that. And I think nutrition is playing a major role, especially with how our foods are just not as nutrient dense as they used to be. So that's a whole other subject on its own, and this is something that I would like to unpack over many episodes, and I've got very good people to talk to about this. But today I just wanted to touch on this aspect of, if you're experiencing depression and anxiety in your life and you're doing the work, you're having the therapy, you're doing the meditation, you're having the mindful practices, you're going into the breathing, so you're doing all the right things, and you even looking out for the things that you're consuming, like you're avoiding alcohol, you eating what you would consider a good diet. I want us to pause for a moment and just reflect on the idea that even though we're doing all this good work, we are not dealing with the same chemistry, or we're not dealing with optimum chemistry. So we're not having the same results we're not having the results we would like to have. And I think just acknowledging that the chemistry that's in our bodies today, as modern human beings that are completely overstimulated by the world, by technology, by our phones, by the systems we're part of, by the jobs we do, the working hours we have, I feel that there's room for an acknowledgement on our part to say, hey, I'm up against a lot and I need to be kinder to myself, a little bit more forgiving, and understanding that I've got a chemistry, a physiological situation going on in my body that is not as conducive as it should be. So I'm not getting the full benefit of all this hard work. And we can touch on a few ways to deal with the chemistry, because I want to give solutions. I don't just want to give us the bad news. But I think the first solution is this acknowledgement, to be a bit forgiving, and also understanding that we don't know as much about our food as we used to. We are in an instant gratification situation. We're in an environment where food is more a task than something we use to heal our bodies. And I think that awareness has gone away. I think our ancestors had much better intuitive knowledge and wisdom that had been passed down from generation to generation, especially in my culture where I'm from, here in Africa. I know for a fact my grandmother would tell us, don't eat that specific food now because it's a bit late at night and it's going to have this effect on you. And she didn't need some PhD to tell her that. This was knowledge and wisdom that was passed down from generations of people that were very conscious about their relationship with the environment, and that relationship had a lot to do with what they were putting in their mouths. And I think we are in a space where we've lost a lot of that. And I understand that there's some brilliant work going out there. I don't want to take away the work of some incredible nutritionists, some incredible neuroscientists, some beautiful people that are looking at the soil and that are looking at how we grow stuff. I don't want to take that away, but I just feel like these people are specialists and this is what they've been doing and they've got a good understanding. But this type of knowledge used to be more widespread. It used to be more intuitive, more sort of in our bodies we knew. So please be a bit forgiving of yourself. And I believe that the one place where we can solve for our chemistry, especially for us having healthy levels of all the hormones required to deal with the external stimuli, and not just deal with the external stimuli, but also to deal with our energy levels, to deal with converting nutrition into energy and absorbing all the right minerals and all of that. It all requires chemistry. It all requires chemistry. So the first place is, I think we need to have a good look at what we're eating and how the foods we've been eating, at least for the last 50, 60, maybe even 100 years, how that food has basically deteriorated our chemistry and ability to produce chemistry and ability to metabolize chemistry, and how that's caused over time, how we've become deficient at being able to handle chemistry, produce chemistry, excrete chemistry, and also remove chemistry from the body, detox it from the body. The foods we've been eating are definitely playing a role there, and if you would like to learn more about this, I don't want to go into the details of it here because we're going to open a whole debate about this, but I think there's two individuals that you can go look at, and I'll try and put their links below. There's an incredible lady by the name of Helene in South Africa. She's founded an organization called Anuthan Infinite Wellness, and she's dedicated her life now to a specific protocol around food that is radically changing, restoring, healing our bodies, which is then having a very positive effect on our chemistry and how we manage and maintain our chemistry, which is therefore having an incredible effect on people's mental well-being, emotional well-being, and to a large extent spiritual well-being. Because I believe that if our physical environment is not at an optimum level, our spiritual experience, the ability to transcend, the ability to experience this connection with a higher power, to experience the energy of this life, the physical body has to be in a very good space, and from the physical body the mind needs to be in an incredible space, and from there the emotions and our chemistry is playing a major role in all three. So I would look at Helene within Anuthan Infinite Wellness. She's got some awesome content talking a lot about this sort of stuff, and then also I would look up her mentor, the person who she's learning from, a gentleman who's in the States by the name of Dr. Robert Morse. I know he's been removed from YouTube a few times. I don't know if he's back or not, but at least Helene's content is on YouTube because she's been very careful on Dr. Robert Morse calls a spade, and he just talks about things verbatim, and I think that's maybe the algorithm maybe hasn't really appreciated that about him, but if we get past all of that, he's sharing a very beautiful protocol for all of us to become aware of. So I'd look at those two individuals, and it all comes down to what we're eating, what we're putting in our mouths. Yes, so that's what I wanted to discuss today. This is what I wanted to bring to our awareness, that ladies, gentlemen, fellow human beings, keep doing the work, keep really going on this journey of consciousness, of well-being, of reaching your best version of yourself. But please remember that you're doing this with this vehicle. And this vehicle, if I had to take this vehicle as an average in 2024, all of our vehicles, all of these bodies, we are at a disadvantage. So we're having to work a little bit harder. We're having to put in a little bit more effort. And some of us are just not having the energy for that. And to a large extent, we're not having the courage for that. And that could be a chemistry problem, not a mental problem, not a problem with you. There's something wrong with you. That's why you can't. No, you're actually up against something very physical. So please be a bit forgiving of yourself. If you're not having the drive and the motivation to get up every morning and meditate, if you're not having the drive and meditation to get up every day and do exercise, please understand that you're up against something a lot bigger than what you think. And I don't want that to be something to now discourage you. I want it more to be for you to experience a bit of forgiveness for yourself, because that in itself creates a whole different chemistry. You being able to see this, you being able to be a bit forgiving of yourself, you being able to be a bit compassionate and loving towards yourself, creates a different chemistry, all on its own, which then supports you to go do the work. Thank you so much for joining Robin Radio. It's been awesome being with you. I'm so happy I could share this with you. I've been wanting to share this for a long time, but it just wasn't flowing, and for some reason it decided to flow today. I'm wearing some very colorful clothing. I didn't have time to get dressed up for you guys, so I do acknowledge that I probably look like a tie-dye model. Maybe not that, but anyway, thank you so much for joining. Stay blessed, stay happy, stay joyful, stay peaceful towards yourself, always.